4.5 seconds. Been laying down a high volume of live fire lately. I think I've done like 500 rounds a day, probably like 3 out of 5 days for the last 2 weeks. So this is actually, which for me is crazy, this is my first day doing a dedicated real dry fire session in a couple of weeks. So one, I'm gonna stick to the basics. I'm still gonna do speed mode, accuracy mode. I'm still gonna get the regular meat and potatoes of good dry fire training in with some different movement requirements, especially because we're in this sweet gym facility here today. But also gonna be carrying over some of the things that have been really playing a big factor in the stuff that I've been learning in live fire. We'll talk about that in a minute, but I'll start out just getting warmed up. I'm gonna go accuracy mode, no par time, delayed beep. Let's pick out 2 positions and a couple of targets. Easy. Start position here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Easy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's my target array. Starting off in accuracy mode, 2 trigger pulls per target. I've got my hammer taped, so I've got a wall on that trigger with every pull. And let's get some reps in there. Sick. All right, this is good. This is good. In my live fire, because one of the things that's different in your live fire versus your dry fire is, you know, that fully reset trigger and the timing of the dropping of the hammer, right? So here I've got a wall, and yeah, there's a moment where I break through that wall. But when you're going live, you've actually got the real breaking of the shot is a real timed up thing that depends on mechanical things that you're doing that are timed up with visual things that you're seeing. So in live fire, one thing I've been doing in working on my transitions is on the second shot on a target, as the shot gets broken, leaving that target instead of staying for a recoil, then leaving. Recoil once, recoil twice and go. And then on the arrival, on the other end of the transition, arriving on the target, actually trying to have the gun decelerating enough, controlled enough, but then the real challenge, visually processing the information of having that shot break as close to the Alpha Charlie line there as possible. You know, if it was a mechanically and timing perfect transition, the first shot would get broken here, and then the second shot somewhere deeper, and we'd be on our way, and maybe the gun never even came to a complete full stop. Now, that's probably a little bit unrealistic on most targets, but I am just trying to track when am I actually crossing into the alpha. That inadvertently causes so much deceleration and control of the gun and the dot and visual information processing and timing. And I'm replicating that pretty well right now in my dry fire, so I'm gonna keep doing some more reps of that. All right, here's what we'll do. We'll take these 2 from the right. We'll move on this guy on the left. We'll take these 2 through the port, and then we'll finish on these 2. And I'll move this guy, so I've got to lean a little bit more. And I'll start over here, so I have to run into that first position. Still in accuracy mode. Perfect. Damn, I'm good. You know, something else that you get a good feel for in dry fire? When you're just setting up random movement requirements like this in dry fire, you know, here's a vision barrier, there's a vision barrier, here's a spot on the ground I need to be. I'm just at the beginning of the session, I'm just getting warmed up. But something you do learn in dry fire is, all right, let me look at where stuff is and where I can see it from, and how much movement do I actually need to do, right? On my first rep, I started here behind this wall. And on my first rep, I ran all the way over here to shoot those 2 targets. And then had to come all the way back to shoot the rest of them. And then by the 3rd or 4th rep or whatever it was, I found out pretty quick, wait a second. Now this is because I was being lazy, right? If this was a stage at a match, I would be looking for these things, building them into my stage plan, so I do it right the first time. But here, just start throwing down reps. Immediately, my brain and my eyes are thinking, all right, you know what you need to do to shoot those ones? You don't have to run over there. You just have to draw the gun, maybe take a step and a half, more like 1 step. Can hit those, can hit that one, can hit those, and all of a sudden, the whole thing isn't running over there, shooting while moving back over here, and then stepping and leaning. It's 1 step back. Super efficient. Let's hit it again. Let's make it as efficient as possible. You get good at that if you do dry fire a lot with movement. That's the only problem with competition shooting is it's so cool that when you mess up, you look not cool, you know? Like golf isn't that cool in my opinion. And if you mess up, right, like the ball goes a little bit more to the right and it's like, big whoop. In our sport, it's like now this guy has a gun and he didn't know where the next target was. He didn't find it with his eyes first. And so now he's over here going like, like, what do I do with my gun? Idiot. There we go. All right. Let's do some speed mode. Let's do some eyeball work. I'm gonna turn my part time on and put that part time at 4.5 seconds and then put it at 4 seconds. Then we'll see what kind of target array we can fit to that. What do we got here? Look at that. I'm an engineer. Look at that vision barrier right there. Let's say I've got to get this guy off the rip, keep me from leaving this position too soon. This guy off the rip. And then I'm gonna hit both of these guys. Ta-ta. Hit that guy behind the vision barrier. And then come back over here and grab both of these guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'll take that little guy too, 7. One trigger pull per target. That was a good guess. That was a solid guess at a working par time because I came into that last target array 1 second, 1.2 seconds shy of hitting that par time. And a good working par time is one that you're almost hitting, but you're not hitting. Because you want that par time to keep pushing you further and further outside your comfort zone, trying to see things sooner, get things done sooner. And you want to be finishing that rep thinking, you know, ooh, I almost had it. Let me do it again. Holster in the gun. Get it again. I think we're climbing on, I think that was 0.9 behind it. Sometimes it just needs to be done faster. Other times I'm trying to figure out if there's a way that it can be done sooner with less movement, more efficiently. I did try to do it faster on the last rep, and it may have gone 5% faster. But I think there needs to be another way to cut some time out of this. Because we can make it. We can beat this par time. I'm not going to raise the par time back up. I'm going to keep coming for it. I got to try and figure out what I can get done more efficiently, though. Maybe get the wide transition to that target done with the step. Zack, 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 zack. And then we're going back the other way. And maybe an aggressive, wider step, at least there. If I just go to where I'm leaned in on this guy, maybe with a little elbow drive and an aggressive step. Ugh. Okay. All right. Wide transition, aggressive step, a little bit elbow drive. Get that done in one step. Let's see what that does. Definitely closer. I was like 0.3, 0.4 behind it that time, with half as many steps. All right, now I'm gonna do that plan, but I'm just gonna do it a little bit faster. Caught my foot on the floor, momentum carried me. So instead of going, oh, just let it keep carrying me and keep my dot stable. All right, one more. We're getting close. Okay. I finished the trigger pull on that target before the end of the echo of the second beep. Count it. On a changed up. If you guys want to learn more about how I train and how people at the top train, you need to go check out the Practical Shooting Training Library, practicalshootingtrainинglibrary.com. Shooters like me and other shooters in different shooting disciplines, whether that's law enforcement, conceal and carry, competition, different kinds of competition with rifle, pistol, both. There's online training programs on there where you can learn more about how to train, how to get good, what you should be focused on, how you should be doing things. And that's all online. So you can get those programs online and not have to F around with traveling around, going to classes and stuff like that. So practicalshootingtrainинglibrary.com. Thanks for watching.